Are we here? Yes, we are. It's the 21st of July, 2025. But I want to talk about what I was doing exactly 20 years ago. Pretty much at this time, not just on this day, but at this time. So let me do a little thing here, and then we'll start.
It's the start of the week. Grab your coffee cups. It's Magic Monday Live.
And now you just slurp at exactly that same moment as the bling. So 20 years ago today was July the 21st, 2005. And we all remember the 7/7 attacks on London, which was 20 years ago and 2 weeks. But what you may not remember was that 2 weeks later, there was an attempted second attack. And luckily, nobody was killed. Basically, the real serious side to it is that the bombs that the bombers had didn't go off. Only the detonators kind of popped. They didn't actually go off properly, and they certainly didn't explode and have the devastating effects that had happened on the 7th of July. But the 21st of July, I was in London, Christine was in London, and we were working with the Metropolitan Police. And they have this incredible building called Empress Tower. Now I have to look this up and remind myself what it was called. I think it's Empress Tower. Hang on. Sorry about this. Just happened to... Yeah, Empress Tower. Is it Empress Tower? Empress State. Right, okay. Empress State Building. That's what it's called. The Empress State Building in London. And on the very top floor, they have this incredible training suite. And that's where the Metropolitan Police were doing this event. And we were presenting there. And it was something called the High Performance Officers Scheme. So this is the top high-performing officers from lots of different ranks within the Metropolitan Police. And we were working with them. And it was incredible, actually. I know I'm one of the first people to criticize the police, and the Met certainly gets plenty of criticism. But these people were amazing. I do remember them being really amazing, extraordinary people. And I've mentioned it in several of my books, actually, working with these people. But anyway, this day, which was July the 21st, 2005, we are literally in the middle of doing some work. And I was presenting, so I was sharing some stuff, and I had the screens going and all that type of thing. Christine's doing all the production side of things. And then out the corner of my eye, I noticed somebody get a message, which is fine. Now, this happened a few times when we were doing events. One or two people might get a message during the event because they have to be on call. I mean, these are some of the top people in the Met. And so he got his thing. He looked at his phone like that, and then he stood up and he walked out. And then about 15 seconds later, another person got a message, and she looked at her message and then kind of looked over at me and went, sorry, and just walked out. And then another one did, and then another one did, and then it was just like ping, 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 all over the place. And people were getting these messages to stand up, and then somebody turned to somebody, just literally started to talk to them. And I'm thinking, flipping heck. And then somebody said, I'm really sorry, Michael, really sorry, Christine. This has to end now. We've got and then said whatever the name was of the incident, a code, whatever it might be. And all the people who hadn't had a message at that point knew exactly what was happening. And up they got, and they all just ran out the doors. And one person came up to us and said, "Look, I'm really sorry. A code, whatever, is a terrorist attack taking place right now. Get out of London." Now, I wasn't sure whether that was good advice, kind of moving our way through London. But you kind of listen to these people. And so we packed up our kit really quickly and we whizzed down. And the energy in this Empress State building was just extraordinary. I've never known anything like it. It was really quite something. And people were running around, but there was an air of organized calm as well. And then we went down, and as we were going out, they were starting to lock. They have like gates, and they've got like the terrorist gates as well. And the terrorist gates were closed, and they were starting to lock the next ones. And we shouted, "Can we get out, please?" And they went, "Quick, quick, go, go." And we ran out. And by now, it's starting to take over on the media. People are starting to hear about what's happening. And the most extraordinary thing happened. A taxi just came along the street just with his light on. And we flagged this taxi down and said, "You all right?" I went, "Yeah, can you take us to King's Cross?" So we went, yeah, sure. And then he said, "I'm just hearing something on the radio. What's happening? What's happening?" And we explained what was happening. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to go south of the river." So he went south of the river all the way along, avoiding going through central London. And then we're kind of shot up the side, got to King's Cross. By now, it is proper chaos. There was so many police, there's sirens, there's all that type of stuff going on. The whole thing was really, really taking off. And of course, stations, especially a station like King's Cross, a major station, is always going to be one of those things that could be a target. So they made sure that King's Cross, was surrounded by police, really. And we bombed through, and then we just looked for the next train that was going to Newcastle. Now, we were meant to be there all day, so our ticket wasn't going to be valid until 7 o'clock. We thought, what the heck, today is a day we got to get out of London. So we jumped onto a train, and we knew the crew. And that's one of the lovely things about traveling on LNER so many times, or I think it might have been called East Coast at that time. We knew loads of the crews. And we went, "Oh, there's a major incident happening in London." They went, "Yeah, we're hearing about it." I said, "Do you mind if we get on this train?" They went, "No problem at all. Just sit wherever you can." So we got on and we sat down, and our train was the last train to leave London that day, or last train to leave King's Cross that day. Just as we got out of the station, one of the crew members came on and said, "You were so lucky to be on this train. They've just stopped everything now. We're the last one out." And we didn't know what had happened. We didn't know the scale of things, but there was this real feeling of, oh my goodness, we've been in London as something extraordinary was happening. Now, to kind of give you an idea, I'm not comparing it with what happened on 7/7, because I think we all know that was just beyond horrendous. But we didn't know. That was the thing. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know the size of the challenge, and we didn't know what was people were going to find out. But what we did know was that there were some incredible people who were prepared just to dive straight into it. And when you think about emergency services like that, they are really extraordinary. When you think about firefighters, straight in. When you think about doctors and nurses and stuff, when all the stuff had happened with 7/7, they're diving straight in. When you think about the police, so often just diving straight in to do their job. And I know they're trained for it. And it's the Army, Air Force, Navy, diving straight in. And I know that's kind of, their choice. They choose to do that. But there is something extraordinary about that level of bravery. So this morning, Christy and I were just having a cup of tea, and we were just chatting about this. And I get emotional a lot these days. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just, older and whatever. But I got a bit emotional thinking about it. I got emotional considering what could have happened. I think about it now, I get it. And that's what I was thinking, what could have happened. I think there was 4 more people who were intent on causing mass devastation. Also think about those police officers and what they did, and how they were just, so professional, so brilliant at what they were doing. I remember the getting home and doing that classic thing, it was 3 hours on the train and another half an hour after that to home, and then putting the news on and seeing that rolling cycle and seeing London just absolutely shutting down and all that stuff, and thinking, God, we were there just 3.5, 4 hours ago. And this is happening right now, live, as we've left. So we were grateful. We were absolutely grateful. I don't know if I have a sort of a final message. There's certainly no, here's 5 things to learn from today from this one. But I did want to share it, and I have it in my diary to remember that day. And it's not a day to celebrate. It's not a day to, to say, yeah, it's a great anniversary, but it certainly is an anniversary of something which was life-changing for me because I was there. And I'm pleased I wasn't there the 2 weeks before. There's a lot of people who were, and I know it still impacts them, just emotionally, the fact that they were there. I remember where I was the 2 weeks before as well. I was in Ibiza. First trip to Ibiza that we've been on for a few years, because our kids were at an age where we could go away and then they were going to be all right for a week. And when we heard that news when we were in Ibiza, oh my goodness, we just had the news about the Olympics, that we'd won the Olympics, and then almost straight after the 7/7 stuff, and then got home, and then this on the 21st. Right, if you don't mind, I'm just going to switch off now. And I do love your comments, but I just kind of think that right now I just want to go and have a little couple of minutes. Thank you.